Hey deck fans, today we're checking out how Deadlock, Valve's newest game, runs on our favourite handheld, the Steam Deck. As always, we're here to give you the lowdown on performance, gameplay, and whether this game is ready for deck users. Let's get into it. Valve has done it again, releasing their latest game, Deadlock, in a way only Valve could. Initially, Deadlock was practically a secret, available only to those who received an invite from friends. Despite this low-key launch, the game has quickly gained momentum, going from a few thousand daily players to peaking at 45,000 concurrent players by mid-August 2024. Deadlock is a fascinating mix of fast-paced, third-person shooter mechanics with the strategic depth of a MOBA. The game features 20 heroes, each with their own unique abilities, drawing inspiration from classics like Dota 2, Overwatch, and even Team Fortress 2. Matches are intense, with players ziplining into action, battling across 4 lanes, and working with minions to break through enemy defenses and destroy their patron, a glowing, powerful orb. However, for Steam Deck users, there's a big caveat. While the tutorial is fully playable, the core of the game, the matchmaking and full multiplayer experience, is currently locked away. You're not able to join matches on the deck for the time being, which means you can get a taste of the gameplay, but the main content is inaccessible until further updates from Valve. This is an important limitation to be aware of if you're planning to dive into Deadlock on your deck. Let's talk about how Deadlock performs on the Steam Deck. While the tutorial sections are playable, there are some noticeable performance dips, especially when the action picks up. Since the tutorial doesn't represent a full map or the intensity of a real match, it's difficult to make definitive conclusions about how the deck will handle the game in full. This means that tweaking settings doesn't provide much value right now, as we can't properly test the game under more demanding conditions. An important aspect to consider is the control layout. The game is clearly designed with handheld use in mind, taking full advantage of the Steam Deck's buttons and layout. However, if you try playing docked with an external controller, you might find it a bit of a struggle. The game requires you to press different buttons that are more naturally placed on the deck itself, making it more intuitive in handheld mode. That said, I'm expecting some solid controller customization options in the future, which should help make docked play more comfortable and accessible. The biggest limitations right now for Deadlock on the Steam Deck is that the full multiplayer experience is locked away. While you can play through the tutorial and get a feel for the game's mechanics, you're not able to access matchmaking or jump into full matches just yet. This is a major drawback because the tutorial only gives you a small taste of what Deadlock is really about. The core of Deadlock's gameplay is in its multiplayer mode, where strategy, teamwork, and fast-paced action come into play. Unfortunately, without access to matchmaking, Steam Deck users are missing out on the primary content that makes this game exciting. This limitation makes it difficult to fully evaluate the game's performance and gameplay experience on the deck. We're hopeful that Valve will address this issue in future updates, allowing deck users to fully dive into Deadlock's multiplayer battles. Until then, you're limited to the tutorial, which, while helpful, doesn't represent the full scope of the game. For now, Deadlock on the Steam Deck is worth checking out if you're curious and want to get a feel for the gameplay. Just keep in mind that the real action is still locked away. We'll be keeping an eye out for updates, and we'll be sure to revisit the game once more features become available.